Every season, there's a group of prospects who come up and give the Yankees some contributions, whether that's on the pitching side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. Today, we're going to focus on the pitching staff and talk about 3 pitchers who could break out in 2024 and provide massive impact for the Major League team this upcoming season. The Yankees certainly have a lot of questions in their pitching staff, but I think these 3 arms can alleviate some of those issues, provide them some much needed depth, and most importantly, carve out bigger roles on the team, whether that's for this season or next, and build up their stock in the organization. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. It greatly helps support our channel. It's all free, and you'll get the best coverage of the Yankees farm system right here on the Baby Bombers podcast. If you want to get Major League coverage, that's on Fireside Yankees. We are your one-stop shop for Yankees baseball content, and if you guys want to check out our other various social media platforms, you can check out our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Links are all in the description, and without further ado, let's not delay. Let's get into today's video. Now, the first guy I want to talk about is Luis Gil, and Luis Gil is a very interesting pitcher for the Yankees because he is extremely talented. There's no doubt about it. He has a blistering fastball that sits in the upper 90s, can touch 100 miles per hour. He also has a really good slider with good horizontal break that gets a lot of swings and misses, but the thing he's missing is a third pitch and command. He'll also be returning from Tommy John surgery, which complicates some of the command issues because we typically see that command takes longer to come back than things like velocity or movement when coming back from a big-time surgery. And he'll be coming back from elbow reconstruction surgery. There are a few surgeries that are as destructive as that in terms of eating into your innings and eating into your pitching time. He has only pitched 4 innings in the last year, and he only tossed 25 2/3 innings in 2022. So he's coming off of a very limited workload. He'll have to build himself up back pretty quickly, but I do have some faith in his ability to be a quality pitcher at this level. If you look at his third pitch in that changeup, that's the one that needs to get better, but reports from camp early on, according to Andy Martino, would suggest that the team has seen some notable improvements in his changeup, and if the changeup gets significantly better and becomes at least an average pitch, he'll finally have a weapon that he can go to against left-handed batters outside of the fastball, because the slider is just not cutting it in those opposite-handed matchups. Against right-handed batters, he's completely fine. He strikes out over 33% of batters faced, and he actually has a 20% strikeout to walk rate against righties in his brief Major League sample size, but it's lefties who really kill him, and I think having a changeup and a pitch he can go to against lefties to get more swings and misses, to get them to chase out of the zone, to generate softer contact, could ultimately be the difference maker for him. Again, the fastball is really good. We're talking about a lower slot release with about 96 to 97 on the radar gun. It's got about 17 to 18 inches of vertical ride. He's got a power slider, talking mid-80s with good horizontal movement. The 2 pitches there are plus. He had a 131 stuff plus in the 4-seamer, a 111 stuff plus in the slider. That's a 119 stuff plus as a whole, even when factoring a changeup that had a 72 stuff plus. So imagine a slight uptick in his stuff plus numbers for his changeup. We're talking a 120 stuff plus starting pitcher. Buy me all the way in. And even if he isn't a starting pitcher and is more of a multi-inning reliever, he's still going to be able to provide a lot of value. This is a pitcher with incredible levels of talent, and the Yankees will continue to stretch him out as a starting pitcher, even if he's going to deal with command or maybe even injury issues, but they are open to trying him out in the bullpen role. We'll kind of see what opportunities open up for Luis Gil as the season goes on. I'm sure that the Yankees will utilize him in a manner that benefits the team the most, whether that's as a starter, as a multi-inning reliever, as an opener, who knows, but the future is bright for Luis Gil if he's able to stay healthy. Again, an extremely talented pitcher, a guy with excellent stuff. This is a guy who should be keeping all kinds of tabs on in spring training, making sure the velocity is crisp, seeing how the changeup is changed, seeing his comfort and feel with those secondary pitches, and most importantly, his health. How does the velocity sustain throughout spring training? How does his pitch movement sustain throughout spring training? Is he going to suffer any injuries? We'll have to wait and see, but again, he is must-watch TV when he's healthy. He's an electric arm, he's a big arm, and he's somebody who I think will have immediate MLB impact on this team. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is Chase Hampton, who is the top-ranked pitching prospect in the organization, according to various outlets, including but not limited to Fangraphs, Baseball America, and MLB Pipeline. And this past season, the 6th rounder out of Texas Tech really did impress. He struck out 33.1% of batters faced between high A and double A, displaying a good fastball, cutter, sweeper, curveball mix, can even throw a changeup in there every now and then. And if you look at the four-seam fastball, this pitch is truly elite. We're talking 93 to 94, can get it up to 96, 97, averages 18 to 19 inches of induced vertical break. We can see even higher induced vertical break numbers depending on the situation, depending on how he's feeling that day. But overall, that fastball is intoxicating. It is a really good pitch, and it sets his profile. It defines his profile. It's his swing and miss pitch. It's his most comfortable pitch to throw in strike throwing situations for swings and misses, either up in the zone or out of the zone, whatever it may be. The Yankees have a really good starting pitching prospect in Chase Hampton, and it looks like all signs are pointing to him potentially starting out in AAA this year. So that's definitely a little bit of a shocker, because he did struggle in AA a little bit last year, but the Yankees seem to really like this guy. They seem to really think he's got a lot of talent. And when you look at those secondary pitches, this is where the Yankees they left their mark on his profile. They had him at a cutter and had him at a sweeper, and those two pitches were truly brilliant for him. That sweeper generates a lot of glove side movement. The cutter is able to generate a good amount of horizontal break as well, and it kind of bridges the gap between his four-seamer and sweeper in terms of movement profiles. And then his curveball's the pitch he's always had. He had it back in college with Texas Tech, and that's a pitch he has a great feel for. So when you're throwing two variations of a breaking ball, a sweeper and a curveball, you've got a cutter, you've got a four-seamer, and you can even throw in a changeup in there, as I mentioned earlier. You've got a diverse and deep pitch mix that is going to yield itself to a lot of swings and misses. He's entering only his age 22 season. This will be his second season in the professional leagues, and this is really encouraging to see him get such aggressive treatment. He's already gotten a spring training non-roster invite. He is well ahead of schedule for most pitchers at his point in development. The name that's been thrown around with him is Minnie Cole. A lot of guys in the organization have compared him to the Yankee ace, the unanimous Cy Young winner last year. And while I don't believe Chase Hampton's going to go on to have a Hall of Fame career, it's certainly possible, but that's an unrealistic expectation. I do believe he can contribute and provide valuable innings to the Major League team this year if they call upon him to be a starter, because of the improvements as a strike thrower and the excellent stuff. He's a little bit more of a long shot to get a Major League outing this year compared to the other two guys on this list, because he's by far the youngest, number one, and also the least experienced. So we'll wait and see how aggressive the Yankees truly are with Chase Hampton, but don't be shocked if he gets Major League appearances. He really does have brilliant stuff. There's a good chance he could get Major League hitters out today, and quite honestly, I think the upside here is remarkable. There's still even room for him to add some more velocity. He threw a little bit harder coming out of college with the Yankee organization. Potentially we see that number get up to 94, 95. If we see that, I think he would certainly climb up more boards. He is a consensus top 100 prospect in all of baseball. He is almost universally considered the best prospect in the Yankee organization on the pitching side of the ball, and quite honestly, I am so excited to see what he can do this year, whether that's at AAA, at AA, or hopefully at the Major League level this upcoming season. Now, the last guy we're going to talk about is Will Warren, and Will Warren is the guy who I think has the highest likelihood to make Major League starts consistently for this team in their farm system. Now, when you look at what he does well, it's his excellent stuff. His stuff is brilliant. He had a 124 stuff plus in AAA this past season, sporting an excellent sinker, an excellent sweeper. That sweeper is easily the best pitch in his arsenal, and one could argue it is an 80 grade pitch. It is really that good of an offering. And then when you look at his other pitches, you've got a four-seam fastball that's gotten better. You've got a cutter that's gotten better. Both those pitches are helpful against left-handed batters, where he's really struggled in recent years, but picked up his performance against them towards the back half of the season. He put up a sub-1 ERA in September and held batters to an OPS around 300 because of an increased reliance and a feel for his four-seamer that made him a really devastating arm against lefties, because he can command three different fastballs pretty well and then throw in the sweeper when needed, or mix in his changeup, which actually gets a good amount of vertical separation off of the four-seam fastball. The diversity in his pitch mix, the different looks he can provide now that he has a better feel of all five of his pitches, and the fact that he has an arm slot that's a lower slot release, helping him play up the 4-seam fastball up in the zone and also get those ridiculous horizontal movement numbers on his sinker and sweeper. And he's suddenly got a guy who really projects to be an impact starter for the Yankees at some point in time. His mechanics are a little bit wonky. The same situation's true for a guy like Chase Hampton, who has a little bit of a long arm delivery, but those unique mechanics have not prevented either arm from being able to locate in the zone and get swings and misses and be dominant starters at the minor league level. When looking at Will Warren's numbers, sure, he had a 3.61 ERA in AAA. That's not overly impressive on the surface until you realize the average ERA in the International League was 5.18. He had an ERA plus around 130. That's 30% better than the league average, and that's certainly impressive run prevention that got better as the season carried on. As I mentioned earlier, his month in September was ridiculous. You put up a 0.63 ERA in a month, especially in a league where, again, the average ERA is over 5, and you're going to catch a lot of people's eyes. But the ability to get swings and misses, the ability to throw enough strikes, enough pitches in zone, and the ability to keep the ball on the ground all blend into what could be a really quality starter for the Yankees as soon as this season. If the Yankees didn't have 5 ready starters, and that could change with injuries, I imagine that Will Warren would slot into that rotation and hold his own as a pretty solid starting pitcher. I would argue that I'm not sure that he would be the 5th best starting pitcher in that rotation. I think the talent is enormous. I think the pitchability has gotten better, and I think he's only going to continue to soar if he can stay healthy. That's not me saying he doesn't have a good injury history, but more so that with any pitcher, you have to throw in that if they can stay healthy portion, because it kind of goes away like this. I mean, look how many pitchers get hurt every single year, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which one of these guys do you think will break out this season and give the Yankees really valuable major league innings? Is there anybody that I should have talked about that I did not? Let us know in the comment section below. We want you guys involved. Make sure you subscribe to the Baby Bombers podcast. We love doing minor league content. We want you guys to get in, get involved, hop on the bandwagon before we take off. And you guys can also check out our other social media pages and our main page, Fireside Yankees, where we cover the major league team on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. You guys can also check out EmpireSportsMedia.com. We've got major league content. We've got prospect content. We've got all your favorite New York sports teams on there. We are your one-stop shop for New York sports content. And with that being said, thank you for sticking through for the entire video. Follow me at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter, or don't, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.